During the May Day holiday, my pampered younger sister, Hazel, insisted on a trip with me along the Sichuan-Tibet route. In my previous life, we got lost in the wilderness. She snatched the only available seat on a passing vehicle, leaving me to walk for 2 days and 1 night. I was eventually rescued, becoming a miracle and an overnight sensation. When Hazel was found, she was a violated corpse. At the funeral, my resentful stepmother stabbed me to death. Both Hazel and I were reborn. This time, my kind sister offered me her seat. "Sister, please take care of your health." But she didn't know that my survival wasn't a choice, but an inevitability. I opened my eyes to a vast white space. The strong smell of disinfectant stung my nose. Blinding lights flashed continuously, making my eyes ache. "Everyone look, this beast abandoned her own sister in a deserted area and saved herself. My poor daughter, so young with a bright future ahead, all ruined by this wicked woman. We've drained our family's savings to find my daughter. Please, everyone, help us." My stepmother knelt, tears and snot streaming down her face. I lay weakly on the hospital bed, surrounded by my tearful, snotty stepmother and my cold, stone-faced father. Next to the bed, a stand held 4 or 5 phones, all live streaming. My stepmother cried and knelt, shouting insults, performing a truly convincing act. As she performed passionately, gifs flooded the live stream chat like bombs. "I've seen many people, but never such a despicable person like you. How can a sister fight her own sibling for a seat? She doesn't deserve to live. Here's a small contribution. You need to save up for ammunition to find your daughter. I've already reported this lowlife to hackers. Let's see if she can survive after this. Count me in, I'll share this. And she still pretends to be innocent, I want to slap her." The May Day holiday had just ended, but the livestream's traffic was still at its peak. Obscene comments incessantly cursed me. I had become the internet's punching bag. "Miss Olivia, we heard you and your sister went on a budget backpacking trip along the Sichuan-Tibet route. Before the wilderness area, you chose to abandon your sister and take the car alone, is that correct? We heard you're a mountain climbing enthusiast and a travel blogger. You should have more survival experience. Why didn't you give up your seat to your sister and wait for rescue? Your sister, Hazel Wen, has been missing for a week now. Before you separated, did she say where she was going? Your parents have hired 4 private search and rescue teams, working day and night. Are you planning to take responsibility for those costs? Your blogger account gained millions of followers in just 1 week. Do you plan to sell products online later? Did you choose the May Day holiday to create this incident to attract attention?" Reporters and news outlets eagerly pointed their cameras at me, trying to extract exclusive information from my mouth. I lay on the hospital bed, tubes attached all over my body. My frail, helpless image was broadcast continuously on television. Now, the whole country knew about me. "Olivia, tell me, where did Hazel go? That's your sister." My stepmother grabbed my hospital gown, screaming and cursing in a frenzy. The IV needle was pulled crooked, leaving blood smeared across the bandage. Nurses and security guards rushed to pull my stepmother away, preventing her from losing control again. The reporters were thrilled, snapping countless photos. My father, as always, looked at me with profound disappointment. "Olivia, tell me, where did you leave your sister?" My gaze swept across everyone around me. In their eyes, I could only read 2 words: greed. "I didn't abandon Hazel. That was a private car. He knocked me out and shoved me in." My throat felt burned after days without water. This shocking statement ignited another storm of public opinion. "Mr. Wen, look at that useless girl you raised. She harmed my daughter and now she dares to falsely accuse others. My poor daughter, I'll kill you." My stepmother lost control, lunging to attack me. Fortunately, she was restrained, only able to scream wildly. Comments in the live stream scrolled frantically, and expensive gifts poured in as if money were no object. The reporters, like hounds catching the scent of blood, immediately swarmed us. Outside the door, many patients attracted by the commotion were also peeking, but were politely asked to leave by security guards, one by one. The situation had become so chaotic that no leader dared to intervene. The hospital had no choice but to transfer me to the most secluded private room. Where Hazel went, even I didn't know, because we had both been reborn. Hazel was my half-sister, spoiled since childhood, always trying to snatch my things. In the end, everything ended up in her hands for various reasons. In my previous life, during the May Day holiday, she insisted that I take her on a trip along the Sichuan-Tibet route. Our sisterly relationship was never close. This was the first time I'd seen her so enthusiastic. Spoiled since birth, she couldn't tolerate the harsh conditions of a trekking trip. I immediately refused, but Hazel wouldn't give up. One meal of hunger strike was enough to make our parents compromise. The condition was that I had to go with her. At that time, I had just resigned from a stable job and started working as a self-media creator, documenting my travels online. I gradually gained tens of thousands of followers, occasionally receiving advertisements, and my life was much more leisurely than before. Initially, our parents disapproved, but when they saw I was earning money, they stayed silent. My stepmother, however, was envious, always subtly suggesting that Hazel should learn from me. Of course, I agreed wholeheartedly to my sister joining my trip. My father also chimed in, saying it was a reward for her hard studies. I just smiled. I had been admitted to a top university. Every summer, I helped out at our family's noodle shop without taking a single cent. My sister was about to take her college entrance exams, and her mock exam scores hadn't even reached 400, yet she was getting a reward. Finally, under the influence of my sister and parents, I compromised. I never expected that trip to become her death trip. Along the way, my sister only cared about eating and playing. Just the money spent on souvenirs amounted to several thousand yuan. The two of us ran out of our last 100 yuan and were abandoned by a private car driver in the middle of the Sichuan-Tibet route. We walked a few kilometers before encountering a small truck, but the truck was full of goods, and the driver only agreed to take one person. "Sister, you have experience. Why don't I go to town first and come back for you?" Without waiting for my reaction, she immediately climbed into the truck, taking all our luggage, claiming it was to lighten my burden. I was left alone in the wilderness. Thanks to my resilient will, I walked for 2 days and 1 night, finally reaching a small village and being rescued. My sister, however, went missing. When she was found, she was nothing but an incomplete corpse. Forensic examination concluded that my sister had been sexually assaulted by multiple people and beaten to death, and her body was partially eaten by wild wolves. At the funeral, my stepmother called me a murderer and demanded I die with her daughter. I woke up, returning to the crossroads of life. This time, my sister acted unusually, pushing me into the car first. "Sister, you have experience, you go first. I'll keep the luggage and wait for you here." Looking at her sparkling eyes, I knew she had also been reborn. All the luggage had been carried by me, and the overexertion caused me to suffer from altitude sickness. My mind was hazy, my vision blurred. Just like in my previous life, the car could only carry one person. The driver smiled and said, "Little sister, you're so understanding. Hurry and get in. I still have deliveries to make." Inside the car were 2 disheveled middle-aged men with yellowed teeth, their lustful eyes scanning my face repeatedly. In my previous life, because they found my sister unattractive, they only wanted to take me. My sister, wanting to survive, actively lured them, making them abandon me. Before leaving, she even pretended to be kind, taking all my luggage and money, not even leaving me half a bottle of water. In reality, she had no intention of letting me live. But unexpectedly, relying on my rich experience, I walked for 2 days and 1 night, eventually reaching a populated area and being rescued. The news of a single girl, without equipment, trekking in the harsh conditions of the Sichuan-Tibet route for 2 days quickly caught the media's attention. Coinciding with the holiday, it became a viral phenomenon. My account gained millions of followers overnight, and advertising and interview invitations poured in. My sister, however, died in the wilderness, her body incomplete. If only we had swapped places, I would be dead, and my sister would have gained fame and fortune. But she didn't know that I survived that year not by luck, and it was no different now. Thump, the sound of the truck's cargo door closing. I was almost unconscious, shoved into the truck by my sister. The moment the door slammed shut, through the small window, I saw a flicker of malice in her eyes. "Sister, please take care of your health." The truck immediately started. The 2 men in the front seats looked at each other, their eyes full of lust. "Bro, how about we find a place to have some fun first?" Seeing me in a daze, the man in the passenger seat whispered, "Wait a bit. I forgot to get gas today. After the gas station, we'll find a better place. Their leering eyes made me nauseous, laughing and saying suggestive things. Against two strong, heavily built men, I was completely defenseless. I might even be killed before anything happened. Another 20 kilometers to the gas station, approximately 30 minutes. The cold voice of the navigation system startled me awake. In this remote wilderness, the gas station was my only chance to escape. I closed my eyes, conserving my strength, waiting for an opportunity. A sharp jolt roused me. "Beautiful, fill it up here, you wait a moment." The driver got out, leaving only the passenger behind. He turned to look at me, his eyes fixed on my body, his triangular eyes seeming to glow with a chilling blue light. After some rest, my altitude sickness symptoms improved. I sat up and observed the gas station. Inside, only a thin old man was busy. The dim lights of the convenience store made the place even gloomier. The man smiled and chatted with the old man, pointing at the car. The old man looked at me, his eyes full of malice, then gave a thumbs up, both of them squinting and laughing as if they wanted to devour me whole. My heart went cold. They were in cahoots. Not only would they not help me, they might even plan to share me. I immediately abandoned any thought of asking for help, turned around, and said to the man in the passenger seat, "Big brother, you guys are so kind, willing to wait for me to hitch a ride." "Haha, it's nothing, but little sister, you'll have to bear with us for a while. We're in a hurry to deliver goods, or we'll be fined." "No problem, I get to sightsee for free. It's a great deal, isn't it?" I deliberately acted like a poor girl eager for a budget backpacking trip, continuously praising him, making him feel like he was soaring. But what if I don't have money to pay for the ride? I bit my lip, staring at him through the rearview mirror. Sure enough, he took a deep breath. "It's fine, beautiful. If you don't have money, we can find another way, right?" He licked his lips, full of lust. "But I don't have anything with me either." I feigned panic, rummaging through myself. If the pile of goods hadn't blocked him, he would have probably pounced already. Last time, there was an office worker who wanted to travel on a budget, and she stayed with us for 3 whole days. That's how it is for us, beautiful, you understand. Meaning, serving us day and night. "All right," I nodded slightly, offering no resistance. He breathed heavily, quickly unbuckling his seatbelt, ready to pounce. "Wait, big brother." I clutched my stomach, my face pale. "What's wrong, beautiful?" "My stomach hurts so much. Is there a restroom here?" The old man in the store waved his hand. "Too dirty, unbearable. Wait a little longer until we get to a deserted place, I'll take you." "No, the car is going too fast. I feel like I'm going to throw up." The car was full of expensive wool carpets. If I soiled them, the smell would linger for a week, and the goods would be ruined. He was truly scared and quickly unlocked the car. All right, you go. I'll wait here." This place was desolate and deserted, not a soul in sight, almost impossible to escape. Taking advantage of the driver being engrossed in conversation with the old man, I circled around the back and slipped into the convenience store. Just then, a cattle truck turned into the gas station, and the pungent smell of cow dung filled the air. Without thinking, I immediately climbed into the cattle truck. The cows mooed indignantly, jostling me, but their thick coats provided an excellent hiding spot. I lay at their feet, only praying I wouldn't be kicked to death. "Where is she?" their voices rang out. I held my breath. They searched the entire gas station but found no one. Then they moved to search the cattle truck. 4 hands reached in, pulling the cows aside. A bull went wild and charged fiercely. "Ah!" One of them clutched his bleeding hand, screaming and hopping. "Why did you hit my cow? Can you pay for it?" The cattle truck driver heard the commotion and ran over, scolding them in a language I didn't understand, then started the engine and drove off. The shaking beneath me made me breathe a sigh of relief. I was alive. After a long, tense journey, I was utterly exhausted, gradually drifting off to sleep amidst the lowing of cows. When the cattle truck reached its destination, the driver finally discovered me. The villagers immediately called the police, and I was taken to the hospital. Opening my eyes, I saw my stepmother exploiting me to live stream for money. Netizens spewed insults, yet willingly showered her with gifts. On one side, massive amounts of money, on the other, a missing daughter. Her emotions fluctuated wildly, taking out all her anger on me. With widespread media coverage, the police also launched an investigation. Finally, a month after her disappearance, the police found my sister. Hazel was locked in a remote pigsty. When found, her eyes were vacant, her clothes tattered, her body covered in blue and red bruises. The family that held her captive was arrested by the police. Before being taken away, they even yelled, "If we hadn't saved that girl, she would have been eaten by wild wolves." What completely devastated my stepmother was that Hazel was 1 month pregnant. Our parents hid it from the media, secretly taking my sister to a small clinic for an abortion. After the abortion, her personality became even more peculiar and sharp-tongued. She would go crazy the moment she saw me. Upon returning, she had missed her exams. With no other option, our parents asked the school to defer her enrollment for a year, carefully catering to her every need. After tasting the sweet rewards of live streaming, my stepmother permanently closed the noodle shop. Every night, she would drag my sister onto the broadcast, weeping and complaining about their hardships. Whenever viewership dropped, they would show videos of me, cursing me terribly. Thanks to my involvement, comments and gifts continuously poured into the live stream. Netizens finished cursing, and they became rich while I was branded a despicable villain, eager to live and afraid to die. Hello, are you Miss Olivia? Due to your severe impact on the product's image, the company has decided to terminate the contract immediately. You need to compensate us 10 times the remuneration within 1 month. All brands that collaborated with me simultaneously cut their contracts, demanding I pay the full breach of contract fee within the deadline. I logged into my social media account, seeing 99+ private messages, all filled with vulgar language. They cursed me to die, saying I had pushed my sister into hell, and asked, "Why do so many people die, but you're still alive? You idiot, I used to follow you. Now you're like a pesky fly. You caused this mess during the May Day holiday, ruining everyone's mood." I documented every account that spread false information and personal details, then called the police. "Hello, is this the police station? I want to report a crime." Silence did not mean I accepted it. After compiling all the information, I sent legal warning letters to each person. After this, more than half of the self-righteous moralizers who claimed to be acting on behalf of justice disbanded. Only a few scattered fans spoke up in my defense, but were quickly attacked by the online army and forced to delete their comments. I sat in my newly rented apartment, sending a message to my boyfriend. Liam had a special identity, often undertaking secret missions all over the world. What exactly? He never said. Once, after we were intimate, I playfully probed. His rugged, cold face softened into a slight smile as he tucked a strand of hair from my cheek behind my ear. "Baby, I don't tell you because I want to protect you. Be good." Then he used his actions to silence me. My mind quickly became hazy, only uttering a few dreamy sounds. The next morning, I woke up in a small inn, receiving a new message. It was a photo of a sunrise with the caption, "The sunlight will dispel the darkness." Ding dong, Olivia, hurry and look, the internet has exploded. I knew you weren't the kind of person they said you were. My best friend Daisy sent me several messages with a link. I opened it. It was a dashcam video from a small truck on the Sichuan-Tibet route, dated May 1st. In the video were images of my sister and me. At that time, I was almost unconscious, being helped into the car by my sister. As she turned away, as if remembering something, she tapped on the car door and said, "Driver, my sister is willing to do anything for a budget backpacking trip. You guys can have fun with her, don't worry." The two men burst into laughter, joking with my sister, their words vulgar, boasting of their debauchery. In a later part, my sister squinted and smiled. "Are you guys in need of wives? My sister is pretty good, isn't she? We're bachelors here, it's enough if your sister doesn't mind us." These words hit the two men's sweet spot, their eyes lit up with anticipation. "This place is desolate. Bring her back and teach her to be obedient. Once she has a baby, she won't be able to run away. Her parents have been sick of that useless thing for a long time. If you guys don't mind, just keep her. It's best not to let her come back." Just a few words between the three people decided my fate. After giving her instructions, my sister smiled radiantly, satisfied. "But little sister, aren't you coming with us? This car is a bit cramped, but it can carry you." "What time is the next trip?" A man secretly licked his lips, his eyes lustfully on my sister. She clearly understood their intentions. "Do you want to trick me into saying it? I've already sent my parents my location. They're sending a car to pick me up. If I don't give them an update in 2 hours, the police will come immediately. Hurry up and get out." The two men were panicked by the warning and quickly fled. Just before the video ended, the screen suddenly shifted. A man knelt on the pitch-black ground, his face purple and swollen like a pig's head, stammering and groaning, revealing several broken teeth. "Her sister told us to take her. She said she would bear children for us. Please spare us, we know we were wrong." Suddenly, one man's eyes widened as if he saw something horrific. Just as he was about to scream, a dark shadow flashed past. The video ended. Right before the final frame, I seemed to hear the sound of chains dragging on the ground. The comments section below had exceeded tens of thousands. Netizens erupted in collective realization. I thought she was being bullied by her sister, but it turns out she was pretending to be a pig to eat a tiger, planning to get rid of her sister entirely. The older sister has been cursed by netizens for so long. What an injustice. Oh my God, I even sent gifts to that stepmother earlier. Can someone tell me how to get my money back? How can anyone in this world be so wicked? What kind of family is this? Hazel is the stepmother's daughter. Olivia isn't loved by her father and has no biological mother, and she's also attacked by netizens. So pitiful. Everyone, Hazel studies at 3rd high school. She's young but already has 5 boyfriends. She's so dirty, go expose her on the school forum, and she dares to apply for an education major? How can someone like this teach children? Let's act, guys. Even the police couldn't find this video. How did it get online? It's chilling to think about. Heaven truly has eyes. Those two, when mother and daughter, are so blatantly hypocritical. Give us back our money. Ding dong, the doorbell rang. I tiptoed to the door, peering through the peephole. When I clearly saw the person outside, I couldn't help but quickly open the door. Liam, in his camouflage uniform, still carrying the dust of the road, stood right in front of me. He threw his duffel bag to the ground, wrapped his arms tightly around my waist, and didn't say a word. His warm breath pressed against me. Thump, he pulled me inside, his long leg kicking the door shut with a loud bang. The entire apartment shook with the sound. Liam's body was solid, his skin tanned and healthy, his muscles firm, exuding a sense of power. He easily lifted me, kissing my lips while whispering indistinctly, "Do you want to do it here or there?" We passed through the kitchen, the bathroom, the dining table, and finally reached the bedroom. I was gently placed on the bed, my face flushed. I haven't even finished talking yet. He didn't wait for me to speak further, his tall body pressing down, leaving only heavy breathing in the room. In the afternoon, the neon lights from the street shone through the window onto my body. I struggled to sit up, aching, and put my clothes back on. Every time Liam returned from a mission, he had intense physical and emotional needs. From initially not being used to it, I now found a bit of sweetness, though it was a little hard on my back. From the kitchen came the sound of stir-frying, familiar aromas spreading throughout the house. Liam, wearing my pink apron, looked like a cute girl busy in the small kitchen. With his tall stature, the kitchen looked like a dwarf's room. His long, distinctly jointed hand grabbed a bottle of white wine, pouring it generously into the wok. A flame, half his height, flared up, illuminating his chiseled face. "Baby, wash your hands, dinner's ready. After dinner, move to my place, okay?" I looked at him in surprise. Liam's large hand, with prominent veins, his arm twice the size of mine, held a small wooden piece, looking utterly comical. "Didn't you say I couldn't come to your place? You just didn't want to come, and now you're pretending." Liam deliberately pressed close to me, his arm possessively wrapped around my waist, his stiff black hair brushing against my face, tickling like a puppy cuddling. I knew he didn't want me to stay with him because he worried about my safety. "Did you post that video?" "Of course, any reward?" Before I could say more, his hand started to get mischievous again. I held his hand, asking seriously, "Stop fooling around. Even the police couldn't find that video. How did you get it?" "That video was found a long time ago. As for how I got it, it's better if you don't know." Liam smiled as bright as the sun, stealing a quick kiss. So that's how it was. While the whole internet was criticizing me, I even reported it to the police. Yet someone held onto the evidence and refused to make it public, allowing the matter to continue to be distorted, placing all the blame on me, using me as a scapegoat for society's anger. There's another part for tomorrow, want to see it? Liam looked at me, his eyes as captivating as a cunning fox. With his help, I had finished packing my luggage. As soon as he stood at the door of the rental apartment, the landlord immediately handed over the deposit, returning a full 3,000 yuan to me. I smiled and thanked the landlord. Liam, his face stern, carried my suitcase behind me. As soon as we stepped out of the alley, I saw his dazzling red off-road vehicle. Aren't you going on missions these days? We met during a mountain climbing activity. At that time, I was still a novice. Liam, with his extraordinary skills, was a renowned uncle in the community. While climbing, we encountered a rare avalanche. To save me, he risked his life, jumping down a cliff. Both of us were rescued, and our feelings gradually developed. Liam had a mysterious job, occasionally disappearing for a period, returning either covered in injuries or utterly exhausted. Knowing his circumstances, I never asked about it. He changed residences every few months, and I had never been to his place. When we were together, he used to train me in martial arts and survival skills. I even used to joke, "Who has a boyfriend whose dates are like military training?" Unexpectedly, those skills actually saved my life. This year, he wanted to settle down and bought a small house. The car stopped in front of a mini villa. Liam handed me the key. "From now on, this place is yours, and you are mine." He hugged me, spinning me around like a child. In a dizzying moment, I was pulled into his bedroom. Before I could resist, he kissed me wildly. The next day, social media exploded again. This time, it was surveillance video from a residential area, recorded on May 4th. A disheveled woman, mouth full of a steamed bun, holding a goat bone, screamed and ran out of a kitchen. Behind her, a mother and son were chasing her. The woman looked like she hadn't eaten in a long time, her steps weak. She stumbled after a few strides. The son yelled, "Thief, how dare you steal meat?" His fists repeatedly landed on Hazel, making her cry out in pain and beg. "Don't hit me, it hurts. Help, save me." With no one to help, she hugged the man's legs tightly. "Big brother, don't hit me anymore, I beg you." She pushed back her hair, revealing a pale, delicate face. It was Hazel. Having grown up in the city, pampered since childhood, with fair skin and a delicate figure, she looked fragile and pitiable. The man instinctively licked his lips, then turned to his mother. "Mom, this one could be my wife." The old woman looked at Hazel, then pulled her hair, forcing her to lift her head. "You'll bear my son children, or I'll beat you to death, and no one will ever know." "You people shouldn't do anything wrong. I'll call the police." "Call the police? How far away are the police, do you know? Besides, there's no signal here." The man smirked, teasingly stroking her chin. "No, I have an older sister who's much prettier than me. I'll call her right away." This was the first time I heard her praise me. "My sister is beautiful and a university student. If you marry her and have children, they'll be very smart. We just broke up a few days ago. I'll call her." The man spat directly into her face, laughing obscenely. "Who would believe you? Be a good girl and go take a bath." She struggled in despair, being dragged away. The video switched scenes. The bottom right displayed the time, 1 month later. Hazel, wearing old, tattered men's clothes, worked in the yard like a soulless corpse. If she slowed down even a little, the old woman would brutally beat her. Occasionally, the man would join in the fun. Another month later, the man hastily dragged a barefoot doctor into the house. When he came out, the doctor smiled brightly, muttering, a son, yes." Even though she was pregnant, Hazel still had to work as before, only she was beaten less. When the police came to rescue her, she had lost her mind, even refusing to leave. Compared to the previous video, the comments under this video doubled, all praising me and criticizing Hazel. Selling her sister again? What kind of psychology is this? She brought this upon herself. I heard she insisted on going with her sister in the first place. I heard she's the stepmother's daughter. The older sister is too tragic, sold twice. Heaven has eyes. She might be pitiful, but she also has herself to blame. Recalling when the video was recorded, her mother was still live streaming, cursing the older sister daily. Now karma has come for her own daughter. I feel so relieved. No wonder Hazel was caught at the clinic. Turns out she went for an abortion. An innocent life, because of whim, came and went. We want to have children and have to take injections and medicine. Disgusting. Just a few days ago, her mother was live streaming, boasting that her daughter was a good girl looking for a rich husband. Netizens felt like they were watching a movie unfold. leaving a barrage of gloating comments. Public opinion shifted rapidly. Those who had cursed me before were now driven mad in the opposite direction. The tide of public opinion began to turn. A flood of encouraging comments poured into my social media account, crashing my personal page for a short time. The 2 videos posted by an anonymous netizen quickly climbed to the top 2 trending searches. Both domestic and international audiences knew the names Hazel Wen and the stepmother. Even my father's personal information was thoroughly dug up. I couldn't deny that the netizens' investigative skills were truly professional. From the circulating information, I learned that my parents and sister had moved to a small town hundreds of kilometers away. They rented a small room, but local residents brought white flowers and candles to their doorstep every day, making the landlord unable to bear it and evicted them. The factory owner where my parents sought work also doubted their character and refused to offer them jobs. Without income, the 3 of them wandered the streets, eventually relying on live streaming for survival. Every night, my stepmother would drag my father and sister onto the street to dance and live stream. Their clumsy, ridiculous movements annoyed passersby, and they were often chased away by city management. Unlike during their popular live streaming days, their live room now only had a few dozen people waiting to watch their antics. Not even free gifts were sent. Finally, after a series of complaints, their accounts were completely banned. My father and stepmother turned to begging, having to force smiles at hot influencers who filmed their humiliation just to get a few 10 yuan red packets. Hazel couldn't stand the hardship, ran off with a blonde young man, and disappeared. Meanwhile, my account thrived, growing by an additional 3 million followers, increasing rapidly every day. Many brands reconnected, calling me teacher, and the price for collaboration skyrocketed. My schedule was packed in no time. My personal page still maintained content about outdoor activities. This is Lingshan Village, a place worth exploring. I smiled sweetly at the camera, but my eyes fell on the person holding the camera, Liam. He was extremely decisive in action, once saying he wanted to settle down this year and had truly given up his old job to build a career with me. Currently, he took on various roles. Manager, cameraman, editor, operator. There was nothing he couldn't do. After we got married, we co-founded a company specializing in outdoor travel equipment. When not working, we would hike and explore the world together. At the end of each video, I would remind, choose locations with signal and surveillance cameras when playing outdoors. Remember to share your itinerary with family and don't get into unexpected situations. This action received a lot of positive feedback. Fans regarded me as a friend, a family member, often suggesting new destinations. Any place I introduced could become famous across the internet overnight, boosting the local economy. Even local governments proactively proposed cooperation, and everything was progressing smoothly. After finishing the video, Liam put away the camera, held my hand, and took the video back to the company. He gently kissed my cheek. We walked hand in hand on the mountain path, breathing the fresh air. Beside me was the person I loved, and I felt a happiness I had never experienced before. We arrived at a small, remote village. I walked into the convenience store. "Uncle, 2 bottles of water, please." Just as I spoke, I saw a pregnant woman chasing 2 children with a broom, shouting, "You brats, I'll beat you to death after I finish selling this." The woman's face was pale and haggard, her belly unusually large. Seeing a customer, she immediately changed her expression to a smile. 3 yuan total. When she looked up, both of us were stunned. "So you're here." Hazel's darkened face showed obvious embarrassment and a flush. I don't know you, 3 yuan. I pulled out my phone to scan the QR code for payment. Hazel bowed her head, her greasy hair covering half her face. "This place only accepts cash." As she spoke, the 2 children, having argued about something, started crying loudly. "Go, go, go." Hazel irritably shoved the water bottles into my hand, then held her stomach and went to the back to scold the children. I quietly put the water bottles back and left with Liam. As soon as we stepped out of the store, a man's angry voice clearly echoed, "Useless! How dare you give things to others? You see city folk and you want to follow them, huh?" Hazel cried and begged, while the children clapped and laughed. Liam and I looked at each other. "My love, do you still want to keep going?" Of course, we're already here. The 2 of us continued along the mountain path. Not long after, I received a message from an employee. Boss, the video just posted has exceeded 100,000 shares in an hour. Amazing. Liam glanced at the message and smiled. My beloved wife truly is the best meal in this life. I must reward you tonight. He hugged my waist from behind, his masculine scent enveloping me, making me feel warm and peaceful.